Okay, no, we're not going to talk about light language versus inner silence. Do you know what light language is? If you go to YouTube and go and do a search for light language, you will hear people making sounds. Are they good sounds? Are they better than listening to silence or a recording of the rain? Why am I saying better or worse? I'm not going to speak light language. I have not spoken light language. Does it mean that I'm not from the Arcturian Council or the Pleiadians? I can't say. I don't know. I have no recollection, and no one's come in and told me that I'm a star seed. But I am very, very, very good at giving silence, even though I talk quite a bit. But silence is traditionally known as a Zen transmission. And what do you get from light language that you don't get from Zen silence? Are there really codes that can activate your brain or activate your DNA? Are we really run by minute molecules of DNA, or are we somehow been misled? I know I misspoke myself there. It's never going to be me versus you in a words contest. Why? Because words are not easy to understand. You have the word, and then you have the sentence it's in, and the paragraph it's in, and the whole theme that it is talking about to give you context. But doesn't mean you're really going to get what the meaning is. What is the meaning of silence? What are you getting from a silent treatment? And what are you getting from la 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 light language? I don't get DNA. I was taught all about DNA for many a year, but I've come to the conclusion that it's phony baloney. It's put there to get us all believing in DNA and genes. And that all the information is encoded in every little cell of our body. Why do I have a problem with this? Primarily because it doesn't make sense. As I've said in previous talks, you cannot understand why we have DNA. Who am I talking to? Why am I talking about DNA? I completely lost you. I've lost the plot. What are you talking about? This is the problem with too many words. I was on Facebook the other day, and I was looking at a conversation between two doctors, two medical doctors. And one was going to be the head of an acupuncture course, And the other one was someone who I don't think they were really interested in the acupuncture course, but the two of them were talking a lot about scientific method, statistics, Bayesian theory. It's a mathematical statistic theory. And two very intelligent people. And I'm looking at what their conversation is. It's all typed out. And my only conclusion is I don't want to believe doctors anymore, because I have two doctors that cannot come to a meeting of the minds. You, your mind, and me, my mind. And this was two doctors, and they could not come to a meeting of the minds. Oh, sure, they had so many references. They were going to all these PubMed and all these other internet sources for studies, clinical studies. I didn't click on those. It was already too much to read. The issue that these two doctors have is that they don't have enough consciousness to have a direct connection, my mind with your mind. Mr. Spock on Star Trek could do it. He was a Vulcan, and he would do a Vulcan mind meld. That's what these two doctors needed. Because using words, it's too low of bandwidth. Low bandwidth is, in the olden days when computers first talked to one another, they used modems over a telephone. And it took a very long time to send information across a telephone. And now we've got, like cable internet and ADSL internet, and then they're talking about the new 5G internet. It's all to increase the bandwidth so you can get more information through your pipe than you could back in the old days of modems and telephone wires. And this is the problem that humans have with communication. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and a moving picture is worth even more. And yet I still have got books and books and books. Why? Because you don't get all of the information by looking at all of the information. If you went into the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C., which has a copy of every book that's produced, even if you read all those books, you wouldn't have all the information that there is. Do you need all this information? No. No. All of this information is very, someone says longhand. Yes, it's like writing everything out in longhand. There's all kinds of shortcuts that you can take. Is silence a shortcut? If you have the right person, yes. In other words, everybody, if they all went silent, would they have a meeting of the minds, a transmission of Zen? If everyone started talking light language, would we all get it? Is DNA big enough to hold all the information that is needed for you as a person? No. Does DNA code for each individual cell in your body? Does it code for the form of your head and your torso and your legs and arms? The answer is, I don't know. I don't think so. I think that we've been lied to about DNA. Because there's way more information than you can get into one teeny tiny little nucleus of a cell. How do I know this? Well, have you ever taken a look at a human cell, like a blood cell, under a microscope? It's very small, and a nucleus is very small, and chromosomes are very small. If it's not in the DNA, where is the information? Are we living in someone's broom closet? In other words, is there way more information, but we're just not given access to it because we're locked? Yes. Some people, commentators, talk about um, densities of different kinds of civilizations. And our density is not an evolved civilization. So we really are. What's the point of listening to any of this information? It's to get you to review what you have taken as being true because you learned it in a biology class in high school or university. But what about all Inez? What about all this science that's shoved down our throats? Isn't anything true? I explained to you, two medical doctors cannot have a meeting of the minds. And yet, everything that the pharmaceutical medical industry feeds us comes from people like this. Do they have an arm wrestle to determine whose thoughts out of their minds, which one is going to be the winner? Consider our society completely lied to about the science of biology. Completely lied to. So that we all believe in going to see the doctor who's going to prescribe us a pill to deal with our sore back. Or it's never going to work. That is, going to a doctor for immortality. Oh, that's what this is all about. Immortality. Yes. We have been lied to. We've been told that these physical bodies, if you get 80 years out of it, you're pretty lucky. We are told that we are our bodies. Our minds are hosted in the brains in these bodies. And these bodies, like I said, if you get 80 years, you're pretty lucky out of a body. So you're basically a mortal. Why did they tell us these things? Well, you would look around, and anyone who's over 80 could drop dead at any minute. Show me an example of a 5,000-year-old human, and maybe I'll change my mind. You're not bringing me a 5,000-year-old human. I don't see one here around me. But there are trees on the planet that are 1,000 or 2,000 years old. Maybe some more that are older. Is that close enough? Go look it up. What are the oldest trees on the planet? Well, they're just trees. I mean, they're plugged into the ground. We're, animal bodies, and we have to eat. We are lied to. The depths of the lies, well, you just have to start with a clean slate and say everything you've been told is totally suspect as a lie. So throw it all away in the garbage. And if you're going to start again, how are you going to start again? Number one thing, close your eyes and sit still and meditate for maybe an hour. And keep doing these hour-long meditations every day. And these kind of things will start coming to you. They told me this or they told me that. And, I just accepted it was true. But after I've meditated on this for quite a long time, somehow maybe the words don't come, but I get a feeling that this is bullshit. You should just go with the biology textbook, Ignore your feelings. Your feelings, you can't trust a feeling. You can't take a feeling to the bank. A good biology textbook, if you're the publisher of that, you could take it to the bank and, they're going to give you some money so that you can, produce more of these biology books. You have to get in touch with you. And you have to strip away everything that is, well, I thought this was me. It's not an easy thing to get to the essence of you, because you have bolted on all kinds of other pieces to your essence and called it you. How do you clean up this mess? I repeat, you must meditate and meditate. What does meditating do? It helps you examine you. And, when you're first meditating, you've got a lot of mental activity, you pay attention to that. And if you meditate for a long period of time, you get to the point where you're sick to death of thoughts and words.
More coffee if you want it.
There's more coffee.